Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our January 16th first council meeting of 2024. Can we have approval of agenda? Actually, sorry. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory and that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Métis. We have approval of agenda. I have 5 reports to add under Committee of the Whole. And they are Director of Operations report on the wastewater treatment plant blower, Acting CAO Clerk report, Automation Now contract amendment, Acting CAO Clerk report, 2023 payment reconciliation, B&T Lemieux Trucking Incorporated, consolidated user fee bylaw amendments, and the FSPA report, Scriber's Comprehensive Strategic Plan and Community Profile, RFP. Anybody, any conflicts of interest?
Oh.
Hearing none. And no disclosures of interest. We do have a delegation tonight about the dock at White Sand Lake Dock, and the delegation is Jason. Jason, I'll give you 10 minutes.
Sure. Ready for it? I'm going to be 2 minutes, you said. So, hello everyone, I'm back. Let's rewind to, was it October, whatever it was? My ask is the same as it was before. A little simpler this time. I want to see a dock in the budget for 2024 for White Sand Beach. Definitely I'd rather see it be funded through some sort of a grant, but if it can't be funded, I'd like to see it purchased. Rewind to 4 years ago, it was in the budget, never purchased, so I want to see one purchased for White Sand. Just a friendly reminder that the bubblegum machines at the rec center gives anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to Township of Scriber, which has produced very well for the township. I know in the council minutes of the last meeting, that money was rolled over to the rec account, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if those funds have been allocated to something else. So obviously the funds went there. I don't know what recreation does with that money. But just a reminder that there is maybe some extra money laying around. And then as well as as we do have an acting clerk, if she's going to be around for a long time, maybe, potentially. Just my only other ask, so to speak, is just that if we can find a partnership to work with the Ministry of Natural Resources, because I think that's who holds that land, I'd still like to see the beach revitalized. So just hopefully we're keeping that on the radar, so if there's money's available, like when we resurface the road out there and whatnot, hopefully we can get the beach even more done out there other than just a dock. So that's my ask for 2024.
Okay.
Questions, comments?
Irene?
Yeah, I have questions.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Why a dock?
I don't know, because there's always been a dock out there for 100 years. The dock got ruined 4 years ago and didn't get replaced. The town has traditionally always paid for, well, after the Kinsman left the scene, the town has always paid for a dock out there, paid and maintained a dock out there. Years ago, the town made a dock. Bruce and the boys would build the dock, I'm pretty sure. After that, they just bought that yellow, I mean, I'm not a fan of the yellow dock myself, but it's better than nothing at all. And everyone I talk to says, I wish we had a dock out there so we still had somewhere to swim to.
Okay. So then you segue right into my next question. What kind of a dock? Because I looked at all these different styles, and you can. There's an aluminum one with aluminum frame and cedar top. There is inflatable, which I'm guessing you don't want.
No, definitely not.
There is these interlocking pieces that make a dock.
I would say we almost need the most maintenance-free dock is the key. Because really there's not, unless the town's stepping up to do some maintenance on it, but literally it's pulled out every year, left on the beach, and you know what I mean? In the ideal world, I guess it'd be pulled out and hauled to the hydro garage, but I mean, who's going to do it really, right?
Okay, so it's not just a dock then. We have to pull it in and
Pull
put
it
it
out,
out.
yes. Yeah. And rec staff has traditionally looked after that, the garbage is out there, the lawn mowing. So technically the town's already out there, but it's just spring it's gotta be put in, winter it's gotta be taken out.
So the homemade dock was adequate, it was well-built and...
Yeah, it would hold up, I mean, I'm gonna guess I'm just guessing 10 years. It was pressure treated lumber.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was, what do you call it, the outdoor carpet was on it, was traditionally what they built.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce was the one, I think, that built them way back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the rec staff did. I think they went with the yellow one because it was easier. I don't know legally if you can even put a wooden dock in the water nowadays, right, with safety and all that nonsense.
Yeah, no, you can.
Can you?
Size.
I would say,
Because they come in a variety of sizes.
yeah, and I mean, ultimately, what's the budget, right? I mean,
Wow.
the bigger the better, but I mean, it's gotta be,
Like 6 by 8,
oh, that dock was bigger than that.
5 by 10, 10 by
It-
13.
It was square.
It's gotta be manageable too, right? Like, how did they get that big,
Yeah.
remember that big green, how did they get that?
Yeah,
out of the water?
I don't know if Fish literally took the loader out there and had, because that was massive, that thing, right? I mean, the little dock, you can literally pull it out with a half ton or two guys and literally push it back in the water. It wasn't that heavy. The one that was out there, I'm gonna guess was 10 by 10. What size was Matt Brudski's?
What size is your dock?
It was the exact, it was the exact same dock as that one.
It's 8 by 8, I think.
Is that all it was?
Is it what?
I think.
That's about right.
Yeah, that
Is
sounds
it?
right.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it'd
about-
be great to have something bigger, but I mean, money-wise is gonna dictate, because the price of everything's so ridiculous nowadays, right?
So we'd have to remove and replace it.
Yep.
And I'm going to talk to our Director of Operations, Tam. Are we going to need to put liability insurance on this?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not sure that you'll get liability insurance on a homemade, but I can check into it.
Okay. And signage? I'm sure there's going to be some rule about, hey, this is not, there's no lifeguards, there's what,
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Yeah, it all has to be signed. We took down the old Kingsman sign last year, so we're that's in the budget for this year to get a new, that's inexpensive, to put a new sign up and one that's more at an adequate height for.
Is it the township's liability,
Yeah.
or is it the ministry's liability?
No, we hold the land lease.
Oh, is
on
it?
that,
Okay.
Yeah.
And it can't be rolled into the town's existing insurance?
It would be. That's
There
how
should
we
be
do
some
it.
kind of,
But there's an extra cost, but.
Yeah.
like an extra
Yeah.
rider or something or whatever,
It's the
yeah.
same policy,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
gonna get an extra.
but
Which-
there's
which I
going to be an
mean-
extra cost though.
No, for sure, which I mean, again, it is what it is, and 2024 drives me nuts. We had a dock there for 100 years and there was never a worry, now we gotta insure it, and,
I know.
you know, it is the world we live in, right?
It's different world too, as far as asking your employees to get in the water and anchor it to the bottom, and there's safety regulations around all of that. It's not like in the old days, right?
So, you're going to have a very good point, an anchor. The anchor that was there, is it still there?
Yeah, they're still there. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of them under the water out there, which was just a big cement block basically with an eye hook in it, right? Which is buried in the mud, like, I mean, you can barely see the eye hook. And if worst come to worst, you potentially could find volunteers to put it in and take it out, if we had to.
How deep is the water at the location where it was floating?
5 feet, give or take.
So,
Yeah, like
Yeah, it
depends
wasn't
on
over my
time
head,
of
yeah.
year, and yeah.
so
you
we
could-
have to have signage for diving and stuff as well then, because that's pretty shallow.
So then how do we move forward with this? We put a project together and bring it to capital budget?
I've priced out a budget for last year, and it was $5,000.
That's not enough. I was looking at prices of docks last night. Ooh, baby.
Yeah,
Oh, they're
so
expensive, yeah.
it was a year.
And that's
ago.
signage and dock?
No, that was just dock,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Is it broadcasting?
Yeah, before COVID, I think that dock was like $2,500, you know?
Yeah, it was
it's
the
like-
shipping.
Yeah, oh, okay. Now, keep in mind, there's an outfit in Thunder Bay that sells them. So if we can get it in Thunder Bay, someone maybe could pick it up if we had to. You know what I mean?
What's the name of the place in Thunder Bay? Do you remember?
It's a place on.
Right on like Hotter or whatever there.
So last year, that,
Yeah, they sell trailers, like the full trailers and all that, yeah.
It's right as soon if you turned off the highway at that first, I forget the street.
It's just
Or
up
the
like.
street that turns into
behind,
Cumberland.
we can-
Okay. Place in Thunder Bay.
So last year,
Hardware-
that was on the
hardware,
capital.
I think,
list.
Yeah, and
And
it was
they did,
kind
yeah.
of
Hardware and Rona.
So you will add
It's
that
gonna be really
again.
difficult to hear
It's,
on
yeah,
the
it's on the
recording.
wish list again for this
Oh,
year
yeah.
for
Can you
consideration.
just speak one at a time?
So there you go. So insurance, Tammy's gonna put a project together, add it to the wish list.
2 minutes is up.
No, one at a time. It's recording and nobody will understand what just happened. If something needs to be said clearly, we need to repeat it.
Okay. So we've got all the details brought together. Tammy can put a project and bring it forward for capital.
Sounds good. Anybody got any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? I'm available anytime. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Anything else?
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, question period.
You don't have any
Yeah,
questions?
Okay, minutes of previous meetings. Resolution 4-24, moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Morrow, that the minutes of the council and committee of the whole meeting held December 12th, 2023 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 5-24. Moved by Councilor Bryson, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that the minutes of the special council meeting held December 19th, 2023 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Committee of the whole. Business arising from the minutes, committee of the whole recommendations. Resolution 6-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that the township ascribe or utilize the funds given by East West LP for the downtown revitalization stage 2 project, which includes the construction of a community pavilion. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. There's resolution 7-24, moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that council authorize the sponsorship of the Thunder Bay District Municipal League 2024 conference and AGM at a maximum amount of $100. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 8-24, moved by Councilor Bryson, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that council approve the attendance of D. McGrath and K. Mullins at the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association 2024 conference an AGM to be held April 24th, 2024 to April 26th, 2024 in Thunder Bay, and the expenses be paid as per township policy. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Counts for payment. Resolution 9-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that the bank debits paid out of the general bank account in the month of October 2023 in the amount of $40,092.30, and in the month of November 2023 in the amount of $41,186.86 be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 10-24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that checks issued on the general bank account in the month of December 2023 in the amount of $429,108.92 for general accounts payable be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 11-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, second by Councilor Bryson, that bank debits issued on the general bank account in the month of December 2023 in the amount of $54,265.16 for payroll be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. We'll move on to other business. Resolution 12-24. Moved by Councilor Bryson, seconded by Councilor McGrath, that bylaw 1-2024 being a bylaw to provide for an interment tax levy and to provide for the payment of taxes and to provide for penalties and interest be enacted. Discussion?
This is just to collect 2024 taxes until we figure out our final budget, right?
This authorizes the first tax bills to go out in the amount of half of last year's.
Perfect.
All those in favor? Carried. And resolution 13-24. Moved by Councilor Bergeau, second by Councilor Morrow, that council authorized a donation to the North of Superior Healthcare Group in the amount of $50 in the memory of Georgette Lipinski. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, we move on to our committee of the whole. Portion of the meeting. Catch up with it here on my computer. Director of Operations Status Report. Anybody got any questions to that or?
Any update on the heater? And
Which heater?
the
This-
radiant in the.
Oh, the radiant?
Yeah.
It has to be vented through the roof. So, we're now waiting for, the weather to cooperate because we'll have to have a roofing company come up to the roof. And, we want the glue to seal it as well. So,
Yeah.
we were hoping for a little bit of a break before this weather hit us, but, that didn't happen. But they are coming back to fix the venting. It will not work with that length of vent.
Did we find out anything more about it or?
You mean as far as paying for to change it? No, we're still in discussion. It's been proposed to split the cost, but, we're still discussing, so no decisions have been made yet. We haven't agreed to anything yet, but they are scheduling to come in and get it fixed. That part is still moving forward. We have to just figure out the logistics of the payment.
What do you think we need for this roof vent? Is it gonna be like spring or we just need a little break? Cause next week they're calling for like 0, -1.
Yeah, so if we can get up there without it, snow on there, because it is a rubber roof. So we just want them to be safe when they're up there and we need it warm enough that the glue is gonna adhere.
Any thoughts on, meeting dates for, solid waste?
Yeah, we have, decided on, February 8th and February 10th. So it's a Thursday evening, at 6, I believe we said, right? And, then at 9:30 on the Saturday. So both meetings will be identical. They can, choose which one best fits their schedule, and we're starting to advertise the public meeting now, and invitation letters will go out to businesses.
You said on Saturday, what was the time again?
9:30.
9:30.
And just, and for your guys' info there, just when the municipal complex lost its heat, everybody is thinking like I'm thinking, it was one of the units up in the roof.
No,
It was not one of the units up in the roof. It was a little fan in the room over here.
it was the cooling fan to the VFD. So that the bearings went in the fan and then the vibration got carried away and started breaking some of the fins. So they had a replacement fan in Thunder Bay, literally plug and play. They reset the rooftop units to coincide with all the digital controls now. And we're back up and running.
Was that a cheaper fix? than-
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Was it a warranty fixed fan?
No, no.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else got any?
I've read through the management report. Can you give us a high level down and dirty on this Scriber drinking water system filter assessment? Because I know they're coming on January the 30th to make a presentation to council, but just real quick, The filter assessment study was,
Actually, the study was really well done and the results are quite in our favor. The recommendations are pretty simple to implement. Essentially, the pressure filters that we have in our plant is exactly what we need to have in there for the characteristics of our surface water. Some of the recommendations is going to be to optimize the coagulation and backwashing sequence. They're going to adjust the backwashing sequence to make sure that they're cleaner. That'll take care of that turbidity issue when they come back online. They're instilling a frequent jar testing that's going to focus on the flock rather than just turbidity. It focuses on the way it forms flock. And they'll do that as the temperature changes in the lake. So it'll be more consistent. That'll help us determine if a different coagulant would work in the colder water versus warm water.
and we bought jar testing equipment that we own now, right?
Yep,
So we're good with that.
that is on site. They recommend discontinuing the pre-chlorination, which coincides with the smart meter that you'll see further down in your agenda. They are suggesting that we, when I say change the sequence of the backwash, they want to add slow wash after the fast wash. So usually we do a slow wash, fast wash, and then it goes into air scouring. They want to add another sequence because it wasn't getting quite as clean as it should when it went back online. So just different small things like that they discovered. But like all of the recommendations are very economical and easy for us to implement. And Ottawa has already started having meetings to start implementing some of the recommendations.
Will there be some significant savings in chlorine when we shut off the pre-chlorination?
No, what it does is changes the location where we're chlorinating. So right now, they were injecting after the filters, but there's no smart meter pays to flow. So once we get the meter in place and it's chlorinating pays to flow, then it'll be a little bit more efficient, but I don't think it'll save us too much more in chlorine.
Or you'd be using the same amount of chlorine?
That's my guess.
Only better using the usage.
It's wiser. We'll get more out of our water process if we post-chlorinate.
And then you reduce that, the HAAs.
Absolutely.
In the pre-chlorination sequence,
When you pre-chlorinate, you're chlorinating water with organics still in it because you haven't cleaned your water yet. So the chlorine reacts with the organics and the HAAs is a byproduct of that process. So if we can post-chlorinate, eliminate the pre-chlorinating, we take that whole issue right away.
So that's progress. That's good.
Yeah. But it was a very good report, very good results.
It's good to
Which is
hear,
good to hear, yeah.
Yeah.
because we would have had to do filters up there.
Yeah.
The only other question I have are on your Aqua monthly reports. I keep seeing it reported over and over and over again, so I have a question. The SCADA computer upgrade.
The SCADA computer upgrade is something that they had to replace the hardware because the computer operating system was so old. So when they replaced the computer with the newer software, that means all of the software and programs within the plant also have to be upgraded. So that was part of the capital list last year. They're working on it. They've got the hardware. They're just in the process of doing the programming now before they actually do the switchover.
But because we had approved that, we are going to have a new SCADA computer system.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any idea on ETA 10?
I do not, but I can ask.
Any other questions on anything there? Hearing no other questions, we'll move on to number 2, Director of Operations report on the water treatment plant smart meter. It's recommended that accept the expenditure request from Aqua in the amount of $55,588.54. That's including the taxes for the supply and installation. A pre-budget expenditure, but it'll be included in 2024 capital budget.
Tim, on the, when we were working out water and sewer rates, you had given us a capital budget for water, and that smart meter you were thinking was gonna be 65, it's actually come in $10,000 cheaper.
That's correct. Just a reminder though, we haven't passed
We
the
haven't- no.
Aqua capital list.
No, but still,
Yeah,
that was anticipated that it was gonna be 65.
that's right.
So are we good with the recommendation going ahead with it? I mean, when we talked about it before, it was pretty important for us to move ahead.
Well, it's gonna make our water system more efficient. And alleviate another problem in the system, so that just makes sense.
So we're just basically pre-approving it for 2 weeks, so we're looking at capital, starting to look at capital at the end of the month, so really, it's a very short pre-approve.
The question I have is if the smart meter, we purchase it, we put it in line, and it fails, what does that mean for the system? Like, I don't, obviously don't expect it to fail, but do we just revert to the way we were before and everything's good, or?
So if the elevated tower ever had to be shut off for whatever reason, we would have to revert back to the old style. So the contact loop is still underground that runs along Perry Street. So we would go back to pre-chlorinating. They're not taking that system out, just turning it off. So if the smart meter fails, we go back to the historic system the way it worked.
Okay, so we're good to go ahead with that then?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. Driver Fire Department Activity Report, September and October 2023.
Busy months.
Yes.
The question I had on was a report on Nickel Island. There was a report of a commercial activity. So how does that affect fire department?
Well, generally it depends what the complaint is. So
Yeah, there wasn't any detail, so I just wondered.
yeah, most of, I mean, I don't want to identify the property or the complainant, but I mean, generally the authority having jurisdiction for code violations in an unorganized area would be the province. So in most cases, I would refer that type of thing off to the provincial fire marshal's office.
But what was the violation?
It was a complaint over construction and operating of the device.
Of the device? And that would normally fall under the jurisdiction of the fire department? That kind of inspection?
It normally would, but
Yeah.
but of course, again, there's a special case there, whereas it's unorganized. And we're only contracted to provide
Fire protection.
fire protection as
Yeah.
far as suppression goes. We're not under any contract obligations to provide inspection services.
Okay. So how did you handle that then? Is you just provided that information?
I have to forward it off
Yeah.
to the fire marshal.
How's the membership numbers?
Membership numbers have actually come up, which is, a great thing.
Yeah.
Other than it is going to, of course, drive up my training costs in the year. So, because now I've got 5 guys waiting to go to courses now. We're probably gonna have to go out of town to take the training. I would say we have right now, we've got room for 4 or 5 more people out of 24.
Okay, anybody else got any questions for Jen? Comments, Jen?
No, but I will say that the November, December report will be at the next meeting. Of course, call volume last year increased almost 5% again. The numbers are still going up and expect them to go up about another year or 2.
I get a group's doing an awesome job.
Yes.
Let them know that tomorrow night. Okay, we'll move on to number 4, acting CAO clerk report, council meeting schedule.
So just as we were discussing, talking about vacation scheduling, it would be nice to know the summer schedule for council. And then as I was preparing a report, there was a discussion about potential problems for February 27th, the mayor's absence. So whether deputy mayor wanted to chair the meeting or we reschedule it. Difficult to reschedule it that week, but it looked like the Monday night was available. Unless deputy mayor wants to chair the meeting, and
I have no issues.
keep it on the regular day.
We can move it. I can share it this morning.
I'm available.
Yeah, I'm not available at all. I fly out on 26th. So you're at supper time. so-
Oh, yeah, I'm good with whatever, Monday or Tuesday. That's yeah.
Maybe.
Monday, you're not available.
No, I'm not available
Oh,
on Monday because I fly out at
On a Tuesday?
5:30 or 7:30, 1 or
Yeah.
2. I can't.
You want to do it? Okay,
Yeah,
just a regular meeting.
it's just a regular meeting, yeah.
It's up to you guys, but I can't do it Monday.
Oh, yeah, okay, so Tuesday it is.
So we'll leave it for February 27th?
With you as the chair.
Okay. Summer holidays. Nice to think of the sun when it's cold.
So I chose the middle Tuesday in July, and then I chose the second one in August, just as randomly looking at the calendar and spacing them out fairly equally until the next one in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. The July one, I think is fine. The August one, I'm not entirely sure if I'm. Should be, but I'm not sure.
So we're good then with what's proposed?
Yeah, I think it's smart to have a meeting in the summertime, not just, not have none is way too much.
Okay then. Acting CEO clerk report on grants in aid application process.
So I mentioned this, when we had a couple of applications trickling in at the end of the year last year. This is the way, well, it's not as detailed, but it's the way that they do it at the city of Thunder Bay. So there's a requirement that all the applications come in and then a committee meets and looks at them and makes a decision. If we're oversubscribed for the amount of money that's in the budget, a decision is made whether some people don't get the funding, perhaps they have a healthy bank account, they don't need it, or if everybody seems to be similar, 70 cents on the dollar instead of what they asked for, the committee makes that recommendation back to council. I was asked by staff what happens because people have events earlier in the year. So they would have to bring their application in earlier, or they would have to bring it in this year for next year, depending on how
Right.
the committee wanted to set it up. I don't know if there are a lot in the early part of the year, but there might be hockey things. I don't know. We do have a carnival, but I don't think we apply to our own grants and aid.
No,
I feel like the only one before that April was high school doing a semi-formal or something like that. Like a winter formal. That might have been all I can remember.
yeah. Okay.
And my only thing was the deadline of April 30th. We haven't traditionally had a budget passed by April 30th, so we want to keep that as the deadline still, or?
That does meet the budget schedule
Yes.
calendar that.
Okay.
It's created by administration.
Okay, so.
So we should
Okay,
touch wood.
okay. That was my only concern.
And you know, if worst comes to worst and it's not passed, you could pre-approve that line of the budget
Okay.
or whatever you wanted to have for the grants and aid, just to allow the committee to move forward with its work. I think pushing it a lot later in the year will impact a lot of the people who apply. I don't have a good idea, a good handle on how many applications we get.
Mhm.
I did ask the treasurer, when somebody asks for a rental waiver rather than cash, does the money then come out of that line in the budget and go into rental revenue? And I was told it does. There's a journal entry made, so, because I was thinking if it was a rental waiver request, we could just, it didn't even have to be within that dollar figure, but it does because the money goes to the rental revenue, which is an accurate way to keep track of your rental.
Right.
Okay.
If someone applies after that date
We'll save your application for next year.
for next year,
We'll have to advertise it. We'll have to put it out there on Facebook, maybe a news
Yeah.
paper article.
because we've typically in the past have had applications around Christmas time.
You can look at whoever applied this year, whether they were successful or not, and send them a letter.
That's a good idea.
I think,
And advertise, but yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
yeah, I agree with her. I think the process needs to be
I like this.
like redefined, because the policy statement, even the form to fill it out online is nothing but a mess. I think making a little, having a new process and having a review committee is a smart idea. I think it needs to be cleaned up.
And review the criteria for.
I review the criteria.
And I think we still gotta look at, some of the policies, in the book too, because like I was looking at them the other day. And I talked to Tammy, and I think it was Tammy I talked to, and just the budget line of what it costs to maintain that building. Like, and when I'm saying this, I don't want people to think that want to take them to the cleaners or anything, but I think we got to be careful on what we do. The line is, we maintain is $40,000. I mean, we get the furnaces on the roof checked all the time, 4 times a year. The heat's on, keeping it ready for an event too. I mean, everything's got to be looked at, and maybe
To me, I'm glad, I'm happy to hear, though, if someone's asking for a grant and aid for a room rental, apartment rental, that money is physically being in the books, moved, taken out of the grant and aid budget and moved to the revenue budget, so that there is, to address your concern, that there is a cost. So that it's not just given away and no one ever accounts for it. We are accounting for it. That makes me feel better. Because you're right, there are expenses to that building.
Yeah, and like I say, I think there's just, certain policies, 3 or 4 policies in the recreation policy portion that we gotta look at, and maybe nothing will come of it. But I think we should look at them and
Okay.
go from there.
Okay.
I know I agree with this, I can see.
Yeah, Granton needs
It gives
to be
us-
cleaned up. We've talked about this for a couple of years now. Well, at least the last year that I've been here, it's been like, we need to take care of this. Okay. So you don't need a committee now, you just need a committee when all the grant aids come in.
Yeah, we might attach it to one of the budget meetings.
Okay, Finance and Special Projects Administrator Report, North of Superior Travel Association renewal.
No,
There we go.
mine is out of order.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. So this is a report to renew our membership in the Norfolk Superior Travel Association. The invoice is there, and there's a email from Dan Bevelosquat to explain what the values of membership are. We do this annually?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, in October, we did the, put the money forward for this year for Lake Superior Circle Tour, just this specific ad for the Discovery Center and being a stamp location. This is actually just for the township subscriber, it's a different thing.
yeah.
And $500 is really not
$500
that
do everything.
expensive. Yeah, yeah.
So we're good with that?
Yep.
7 is, Finance and Special Projects Administrator Report and Directional Signage.
So we have these signs that she's provided some lovely photos of, and those are signs that are permitted. And so we have to renew them. And again, I think this is something we do on a recurring basis. The invoice is attached to show the amounts for these various signs. So I guess if you wanted to change the location of some of them or have fewer, now's the time to discuss that. But the purpose of them is to draw traffic away from Canada Highway and more down into Scriber to see some of the events.
I just know people I've talked to at Scriber Beach is, I always ask, how did you get here? I follow the signs. Or I used the last one, it was in the Circle Tour, so. I think what we're doing, we get people off the highway and with our community, the signage helps. So.
I just have one quick question. I don't understand the history of it, but we pay both the Cask Isle portion and our own portion? I guess my question about that is why.
Well, I mean, the trail, Casco Trail is, I mean, it's an asset to our community. It's drawing people in. We're trying to draw people into our community and we're advertising an asset that's to our benefit.
Okay.
I would think. My opinion.
No, I was just curious why we pay the fee for their signs, but they didn't just pay their own, but I figured just thought somebody here would know.
So good with that fee too. Okay, moving on to, report in Great Lakes Waterfront Trail expansion.
So this is again, a contribution to a program that we belong in, that's a partnership with the Waterfront Trail. So our membership is $500, if you want to call it a membership. It's a partnership program, so we just pay into it. The report is self-explanatory of the benefits.
That's an angle too, right?
Yeah.
That's, good with that one, everybody?
Yep.
Good. And number 9, the, Phase 6 Trail Phase 2 feasibility and engineering study.
Council will recall that last fall, this was due and had to be extended a couple times for the due date, but it eventually came in. It's, hefty. It was paid for through the grant, and, its recommendation is to go for money, to apply for more money to allow some of the work to be done that the report talks about in the feasibilities.
And that work was addressed in that study.
Yeah.
And the township's portion would be in kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here you see the Catskill Trail contributing some capital.
Is contributing some cash. So what is, okay, we're not gonna get into that. It would be nice at the end of the day to have Kim, and she probably can't do it up front, I would say later on, define her in-kind contribution. Right now, it's probably gonna be very little, but when the project actually starts getting up and rolling, I think that I've talked to her about the number of reports you have to file for grants, reporting in, gathering of invoices, all of that stuff.
For her time.
It's going to be significant,
Her
just
time and
if you think it's not. I read the study. The study's interesting. I think it looks good. So I had a concern with what amounts to half a mile of trail on a net expense of $325,000.
Minimal.
Pardon me?
Minimal.
And a good chunk of that is rebuilding a bridge.
Rebuilding a bridge, I get that, yeah, for 109. Now, I've been told that by completing this project, it's gonna enable us to secure future grants if we wanna develop the beach. Because this trail portion needs to be continued, right? And I know there's no expense to the town, I get it. I guess I was looking for you to provide more detail, because you know more about these trails than I ever will.
What kind of utility? are you looking for?
You don't think that's a lot of money?
Well, I mean, we talked about this. I mean, we had a meeting, looking, and we did go over, the issues that had to be addressed. That portion of the trail, I know from experience, is well used
Okay.
by the public. It's very technical in spots. Apart from the beach up to the bridge, it had been upgraded at some point, but it still use upgrades. The bridge itself is it was built, I believe, in 1999. So, like, it's going on 35 years
Okay.
or 25 years. And it was just a homemade bridge that was put together by a bunch of volunteers. So, and not only would be an upgrade to and safer crossing of Cook's Creek, which can be pretty treacherous at times. It'll be an engineered bridge, so it'll be the insurance should be easier to insure that the bridge or that portion of the trail. From the bridge onward, it's very technical. And my concern over the years was because of the heavy usage, and it's advertised, we encourage people to go up there as a municipality and as a trail group. Because of the technical aspects of it, I was always concerned that there was, I mean, something could go wrong there if it wasn't upgraded.
And this upgrade will fix that.
Yeah, that's the whole.
We own the land.
No, it's some of it, no. They go into private property. most of that portion goes to private property. So, and that doesn't mean that that's unusual, because there's other areas on the trail that goes through private property. And it's not unusual to have a landowner agreement, not only here on our portion at Northern Cascade Trail, but right across the Voyageur Trail system. The
Okay.
only reason there are trails is because of landowner agreements. Like we, just for an example, the Cascade Lake from Terrace Bay to Hydro Bay, that's all private property. From Hydro Bay west, for a couple of kilometers, or probably over a kilometer, maybe a couple of kilometers, is private property. And, so those are examples that, not unusual.
Do I think it's a little expensive? Maybe a little, but not by a heck of a lot, but it's 100% funded. It's, every time I look, on the website, or actually even on Facebook, there's people asking out, reaching out about it. We just stop and think that brings a lot of, not all hikers will come into town or anything, but it brings a lot of hikers and everything to or through our community, and a lot of people do it. I just blows me away. People coming up from the States, and they will kind of like, I get it. They want to do the circle tour on the highway and everything like that, but they want to do the trails and everything. And
Mhm.
so,
You know, and I read through the FedNor grant. It's pretty clear that that grant can't be used for a whole lot of tourism initiatives. But one of the things that's outlined in that tourism growth application is trails. And you don't find a lot of trail money. I know from the past when we looked for trail money, it was hard to find. I'm glad that it's 100% funded. It just, when I look at it and, cause I'm going 80 feet, 10 feet, and I'm like, that's half a mile, holy hell. But I have no idea, because I don't go on the trail. I figured you would know this much better than I would.
But part of that $190,000 is getting material in there and to build a bridge. I mean, you have to actually build the trail, to upgrade the trail just to get the equipment in there, to haul material. And then at the end of it all, you want to put it back to where it was, so.
Okay.
Does it end up being the same class as up to the picnic table?
From Scarborough Beach to the bridge,
After this?
after the bridge, it was
Like after the work.
After the work.
after the bridge up to Hobbit's Corner. It will still be, I'm not sure how it will be classified, but it will be a major improvement.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot safer.
Yeah, we walk that trail, but I think quite often we see people that are clearly from far away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And another, and what we always talk about in our trail group is that the more unique features you have on your trail, it's gonna draw people. They want to go and see that bridge.
And do you believe if we complete this project, it's going to enable us to secure future grants if we want to upgrade that beach, that Scarborough Beach? Because it's an access to that beach, right? This
Yeah.
trail?
Yeah,
So that makes sense then.
It's not gonna hurt.
Not going to hurt.
yeah.
Thanks for the information, Darren. I figured you would know. I'm in favor of the recommendations. I don't know how the rest of you feel.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
okay, senior program coordinator report, September.
Okay. Yeah, that's a September report, so I mean, we covered everything that's in there, and in the last meeting, I gave an update on what's going on with, the senior center. We're having a meeting in, next week, so there'll be more information to come. I'll wait for that.
Anybody got any questions on, no? Okay, we move on to the public library board meetings for, November.
Any questions?
I'd like to be included, the meeting, I think, what date was it, 1936 meeting?
That was cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the minutes.
See those names and what was going on back then. Even the mayor was the chairman of the board back then. So that was pretty interesting.
Dave, typically they're doing, updating their strategic plan for 2025.
Yeah.
Do you think just organically, when we're working on ours, that they will include the libraries? It's included, right? Like the two things, the strategic plan of the library is included in the Scriber strategic plan.
Oh, so sorry.
You would count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that might, the fact that we're doing one might change the scheduling on how they're gonna do theirs.
Okay.
You know,
Who takes the lead on your strategic plan?
last one we just did it, all like Dono kind of took the lead, but
Yeah.
it was like a section of every board meeting was allocated to
Yeah.
doing part of that.
Okay, good.
That was a while ago, though, the last time we did it. Not a while, but I mean, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. Out there. So,
Okay.
Okay, move on to beautification committee. Meeting minutes.
Yeah, I missed the December meeting, but I did talk with Kim about it. So, it's straightforward there.
how many people are on the committee now? I see someone step
Yeah,
down,
yeah. So it's, four of us. So,
or including you.
it would be five, including, like, with me, five.
Yeah, with Kim though, right?
Yeah.
Can we advertise that we have spots to fill on this?
Yeah, and I think Kim did tell me that there's a few more people interested, so.
This should generally 7.
Yeah,
That's all.
They got a few, whether they're gonna join the committee or they're just friends of the committee, they got a couple good ones going on, to my knowledge.
yeah. I was like, there was a few thinking about it, anyway.
I just, yeah, cause
It's
like,
good.
I know
Yeah.
on our rec committee, we struggle with numbers too, and I guess,
You've got a couple of extra on your committee, right?
I think we're around the same. So you might know the answer. Do committees need quorum to run an actual meeting?
So every committee should have terms of reference
Mhm.
that would answer that question.
Okay, I think they do.
So,
I'll ask Evan that.
yeah, what I did is similar to the user fee bylaw. What I've done in previous positions is a bylaw that deals with committees, and the main bylaw is all the rules that all the committees have to abide by. And then each committee has a schedule. That's their specific special rules.
Yeah. 'Cause like I know our library board's a board, so it's different, and I know we cancel a meeting when we don't have quorum. That never is the case when it's a committee.
So there's-
It's like 3 people isn't quorum.
There's 2 things you can do. You can have a meeting that isn't a formal meeting and you just take notes of the meeting rather than minutes of the meeting. And then those inform the next meeting, but it's not formal minutes if you don't have a,
Okay,
that's one way to do it.
I'll ask Evan.
Mm-hmm.
And the schedules sometimes are very informal and, you know, I don't want to say last minute, but there's not a lot of time. So I'm talking like, when you only have 4 or 5 people, 2 people that make it, the meeting that's canceled, you know, like it's,
You could schedule regular meeting dates.
for sure, yeah, that'll be a suggestion. For sure.
Mhm.
At the first meeting after the committee is convened, we always had, the committee review its terms of reference and make recommendations to council if they thought that their terms of reference should change, and look at their meeting schedule. Because then you have your new members and they can say, well, every Monday night I have a parent teacher meeting or whatever. Mondays don't work for me, Tuesdays don't work for the council members because of council meetings or whatever. And you pick a regular scheduled meeting that people can reserve on their calendar.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm just looking at the minutes to the community economic one, there's technically only three members of the,
Yes.
not two, right? But I don't know.
Yeah, so for the Community Economic Development meeting, John Caniso is actually coming back.
Okay.
So he's coming back onto that committee. And the meeting that we had in December was really,
Okay, we off the
yeah,
beautification
sorry,
committee?
sorry, yes. Yeah,
Okay. So we'll go to the Economic
Sorry.
Development Committee.
so the meeting that we had in December was just to take a step back and review what had been discussed by prior councils about the pavilion, what we could see moving forward when we're looking at now at grant applications, and basically coming to the same agreement that they didn't want a 4-season pavilion, that we were looking for something that was more open in the space where we have the tent set up. The fact that we do have the tent, and that certainly we have to look for a grant. There's been a bunch of things that were discussed at that meeting about needs and wants, but certainly everything would be rolled up into some type of a package right down and submitted to mayor and council. And we'd be looking for funding.
Yeah, and it's funding that would be
Yeah,
reasonable for,
right. But that whole meeting was just kind of taking a step back to look at what had been discussed, what had been decided. We looked at old drawings, old draft drawings, and just really looked at what is it we actually need.
okay, so, then again, I guess, in terms of reference, Don quit so I haven't seen his name come forward. Do we gotta?
You have to reapply.
Accept them as a.
Yeah, I think that's Nathan's working on, yeah.
So we'll have to approve
Yeah.
his name.
I have a note to ask him.
Mhm.
I have a note to ask him about recommendation.
Yeah.
Ask him, it sounded like ask him.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it on the economic development then?
So we did, yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to no. Let's move on to down the bottom. Director of Operations report on the blower. I'll let you speak to it, Tammy.
This, as you recall, the blower failed at the wastewater treatment plant. And that was October 25th. Then the VFD on blower 2 failed, so we had to wire it back to blower 1 to keep the air going down at the plant. So we've, through the procurement process, they have got these quotes now for to replace the blower, to retrofit the VFD cabinet. The blowers were pushed to their limits. So this blower that we're putting in there is 125 horsepower rather than 50 horsepower. So it requires a larger VFD. So we have to retrofit the cabinet to allow to get it fed. And then the VFD itself is priced out here. So further expense, will be, for EKT to come and mount and level the motor. And they might have to modify, some of the pipes for the inlet and outlet. On the old pump, it was on one side and the outlet was on the other side. On the new pump, it's both at the front. So, with the new pumps, we have to make sure that the material for the piping is acceptable to the standards of that pump. So further to modifying the path that the piping takes, we might have to change the material that the piping is. So he was still working on that quote. But we need approval to get the stuff ordered for the blower, the VFD cabinet, and the VFD itself, and that comes to $114,560.90.
This new blower will last Scriber how long?
Well, the other one has been in service, what did I tell you, since the 1980s? So it's anticipated that this motor is a really good name, on the motor, and they say it's a tank, so they anticipate it giving us a long service.
And it won't have to work as hard.
Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask a stupid question.
No questions.
Well, this one will be. At the price of, what I expect this, what I kind of picture this as to be, I don't know, but what is a VFD cabinet?
That's the, VFD is housed in a cabinet, so it looks like a large electrical panel. And, it's like floor to ceiling, it's very large, and the VFD goes in that cabinet. It's all electrical, so it has to be behind doors. So it's an electrical cabinet that the VFD has to get into.
Why VFD? Does the motor speed up and slow down with the change of flows, or is that?
Yeah. The VFD tells it when to
Right.
come on, and yeah.
So, because in November, we had talked about that blower. Blower one was in 1975, blower two was in 1989. We were taking a shot at 80,000.
Yeah.
So this 114,560, this is firm
For those things, yes, we've got the quotes,
plus other stuff.
Plus that up.
yeah, for the install. Because Automation Now will do all the electrical stuff. The mechanical stuff has to be done by EKT, and we're still waiting on a quote for that. But we want to get this stuff ordered because the plant, I mean, we're relying on a motor right now that's, running hot, making some weird noises. We don't know how long it's going to last. And without the air, you're not going to have a process that's processing the sludge going down to the sewer pump, the sewer plant.
Could possibly be shut down.
Yeah, then you have an environmental issue.
Yeah, I think we gotta go ahead with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, no,
we're
but
gonna have, we'll have that. We're gonna have the debate where else we're,
no, but unlike the smart meter, this was not included in kind of a pre-budget type of discussion. So this is going to be added to the 2024 budget.
Yes, that was an unanticipated
Okay, no, that's fine.
failure.
Okay.
good with it then. Okay, Automation Now, the contract amendment.
So
Number
we
3.
recall that Ms. Ivy brought reports forward in the fall of 2023 about the need for us to meet code and some additional work that had to be done in order for us to meet code. The safety authority has been meeting with us and starting to crack down. So this is a copy of the agreement that's redlined to show what's changed. So we're adding to the agreement, the new items that need to be done and removing some on the page. What was my page number? Under phase 4, there's a bunch of crossouts.
Yeah.
So we're switching up phase 4
Yeah.
in order to, bring us into compliance with our code requirements.
So up from 129 to 192.
Right.
Now, I asked the treasurer about some of the questions I received. So Tammy's report from last fall was in September, and at that time we were talking about borrowing money in order to finalize. So the impact on the budget will be borrowing costs. So there's an additional cost here with an amendment of 64,723. But we also got an increase in our OCIF funding that we hadn't expected. So there was an extra 22,000 from that. When we did the original report in September, we were basing it on the 2023 OCIF allocation, but now we're getting extra. We've received the notice of what we're getting. So the additional cost is 42,478 for this particular amendment. And then, so what it's going to be is borrowing. If you see it in the September report, it depended on the number of terms that we borrow and the rates and how much it would be. So a loan repayment is an operating cost budget, an operating loan cost. So that's the impact on the 2024 budget. It's not a $40,000 impact, it's a borrowing cost impact. We won't know exactly what that borrowing cost is until we've got these projects all lined up and put together. But this one is funded with OCIF.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's,
We pay
so,
the borrowing with the OCIF each year, correct? Is that what that plan was?
No, I don't think so. This,
Oh.
the OCIF money is going to the project. And luckily we have an extra 22
Oh, okay.
to 45 for next year.
I thought it, okay.
And you,
I think that's the revitalization stuff.
Oh,
We were.
is that,
it's
that's
a
what I'm,
different-
sorry, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
new, it's not OCIF. it's
Sorry,
something
something
else,
else,
but-
yeah.
okay, so we're gonna borrow the cost of the whole project, but the OCIF money will be going into that to decrease how much we have to borrow.
We're borrowing this cost that we didn't have covered with other funding.
Okay, so we're taking the project less OCIF money and then borrowing the difference.
and that OCIF funding is supposed to double within the next 5 years. It's supposed to be doubled within the 5 years.
Not each year, but
Yeah.
over the.
Right.
Over that, yeah.
So if we were getting, I don't know what we're getting right now, 140 some, but if we were getting 150 right now, in 5 years, we'd be getting 300. So that, where that extra money come was the first portion. So we can expect another,
Because this project's gonna be completed by the end of 24 or the end of 25?
24.
We asked for 24
For
because
24, okay.
to pacify the regulator.
So we haven't spent 23's OCIF money
It's been allocated to this
to
project.
this.
Yeah.
We haven't spent 24's OCIF money, we haven't got it yet,
No, but we're allocating it
to
towards
that
this
project.
And then the September report does say that in future years, we'll use the OCIF money for fund loan repayments.
On this particular project.
I don't know if it would take 100% of our OCIF,
I would
but
hope
it
not,
would,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
would be.
because at some point, we're going to want, there are gonna be other infrastructure projects come up. I'm just trying to think how long we've locked ourselves in. 2 years is not bad. But logistically, it's one, because we're January, and the project will be over in December. Okay. Perfect.
If I remember correctly, with doubling within 3 years, we'll have the project paid for, the electrical.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we deal with priority project
Yes.
and worry about the others later.
Mhm.
Later.
some things we have to do.
No, this electrical one is a must. So, okay. So you think, other than this town, we're ready, we're set to go? Do you foresee any other?
For the ESA upgrades,
Mhm.
I think this is conclusive. Nothing's ever guaranteed, but I think that is pretty, all-inclusive.
Okay,
That's what we were told at the meeting.
Yeah.
okay, okay.
And I've reiterated several times with the automation now that it's not just the bagger building, there's components in the clarifier building that also need to be replaced, but he's identified them all in that list.
On that list that you provide to us,
Yep.
okay, okay. Beautiful.
Okay, sounds good. So,
Yeah.
Uh,
So the recommendation is
approved.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the CEO report, Lemieux payments.
So council will recall that Mr. Lemieux, the solid waste collection contracts expired at the end of August without having been renewed. And Mr. Lemieux's company asked for a rather large increase, and then there was some discussion. During the discussion and negotiation period, we continued to pay him and he continued to work for the pricing that was in the contract that had expired. And then Ms. Ivy worked with him to finalize an agreement. She managed to talk him down from his original request. We made a $5,000 good faith payment before Christmas, knowing that we would be increasing the cost. But we don't have an agreement that covers those 4 months because the previous one expired and we started the new one January 1st. So the treasurer needs approval to pay the balance owing to the Lemieux Trucking Company for the last 4 months of 2023. And that amount is $5,462.61. And the treasurer gave me her breakdown of how it was calculated.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Recommendation for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Consolidated user fee, and CAO report consolidated user fee bylaw.
Right. So, and when we brought the consolidated user fee bylaw forward, we said there's going to be things we missed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Mr. Cole came up with a few things we missed. We was looking at his section of the bylaw. So apparently we sometimes rent the kitchen out by itself. And we missed that in the schedule to the agenda, to the bylaw. We had a discussion about, so this PAL insurance, that's for people who hold a liquor licensed event on our property and they buy insurance. They got it for a lower price because we would supply a person to be like a supervisor. And it was getting harder and harder to find these people. So we've changed that so that the event holder has to supply their own supervisor person. But that means the insurance rate goes up. So we have to adjust that. And then we have to create fees for the rental of the arena when there's no ice. So if somebody wanted to do like a farmer's market, or an example was a really large wedding where there's no other place in town that is big enough to hold it. And so those are on the second page of the report. Those are Mr. Cole's recommendations. So if council is okay with this, we'll be updating the bylaw, bringing forward an amending bylaw.
I just have a question, just out of curiosity, what would be an example of when the hall kitchen would be rented? Just the kitchen?
I imagine if someone's having a big family dinner and they want to cook it, I'm
Yeah.
guessing, I don't know.
Does anybody know?
Yeah, it sounded like if a organization was renting it for an event and they wanted to use the kitchen the day before to do prep,
Okay.
was the example that he gave me.
oh, that makes good sense, actually, yeah.
So with that, while we're on it, with that, I guess that would include everything in the kitchen. Like, I mean, again, here we go. Some people just want to rent the cooler.
That would be the price. for
My assumption
whatever
would
you
be
want
it's
to schedule.
$195. It includes the cooler and the stoves, that's it. You have to rent them all.
Yeah.
One price, right? Am I wrong?
That's what the.
No, I
proposal
mean,
is.
that's my question, I guess.
Yeah. That's part of the kitchen.
Because we'll get into that. I mean, I'm sure of it. Like if somebody says, well, I just want to put my stuff in there for 3 days or something. Well, just charge me $20 a day for the cooler. Well, no, it's $195 for the kitchen.
Yeah. I would assume that that's correct.
I'm sure they don't want someone else coming in and using the kitchen while their stuff is there.
Yeah,
I would say that's pretty true.
Okay.
Okay.
that's a good answer.
We're talking about the user fees. Online, I think when I go online and look at user fees, it shows 2022 as the latest rates. I know this because I went to, I was gonna come and get a gym membership a couple weeks ago, I looked. And I think the latest rate showed $303 for a family residential membership. So I grabbed $400 thinking I'd be good, you know, I come down here and it's $520 now. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that, but that's a substantial increase, but anyway, back to we need to get our rates correct online.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we had said we were gonna publish these user fees.
Yeah,
Is
I've
that-
actually discussed with Mr. Cole where it goes and the fact that the other bylaws are online, but they're hard to use as Councillor Joe brought up earlier.
Rates, these seem fair, like we're increasing by a few percent, but that's like a 57% increase in 2 years for, to be honest with you, I didn't pay it. It's a lot of money.
You want
Maybe it's
that-
not.
Do you want that to be adjusted?
No, I don't remember looking at that. We probably did. I just maybe missed it, but I don't know. It seemed like a,
In the report I did on the user fee bylaw, I had a table with the existing rates, which I thought were 2021, but maybe it was 2022.
I think it
And
was
then
kind of a
the
mix.
proposed new rates side by each, so you could compare them.
yeah, it probably was there.
But-
Like I say, just like when I looked online, it was like it's $300. Well, I'll bring 4. It'd be good. Now it's nowhere close. Anyway, I just, the point is we gotta get current on.
Online.
Online, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an easy trick to find those rates.
Well, and it should be easy.
I
It should
put
be.
it in my
Yeah.
phone there and it popped up
Yeah.
right away, but it was like I say, if you're not paying attention, you could be surprised.
Yeah. Much of that was a surprise. No, for sure.
Okay. Any other questions on that one? And the FSPA report on the strategic plan.
So this report is, it looks kind of scanty, but we have to keep people's proposals confidential. We say that right in the RFP document that we will not share their proposals, but if any member of council wants to see it, it's available to you. So we did receive 5, and we had advertised in the RFP document our matrix of how we would rate them. So much percent for their schedule of getting things done, so much percent for the cost, so much percent for the, expertise of their team that they bring forward, so much percent for checking their references and things like that. So each of us separately rated the 5 proposals that we received. And we each independently came up with the same winner. McSweeney and Associates. They were not the cheapest, but when you review an RFP, you're not necessarily picking the cheapest. In your matrix, you give the best score to the lowest price, but that's not the be all and end all of the review. This company has worked for Scrubber before, and they did give us an actual discount of what they usually charge because of their past experience.
So we'll be moving forward. Thanks.
Well, I move that we accept it, and that's my next question. When will the work start?
Well, their schedule was included in the proposal, and it recognized that the award would be made on January 30th. So the dates start then, and it will be finished within this year.
Woohoo.
I don't remember what exactly their finishing date was. Different people had different ones.
Yeah,
We had required that it be finished by October. I think these guys are a little bit ahead of that.
yeah, not much.
I can look that up tomorrow.
It's fine, the sooner the better we can get started, it'll be awesome.
It's a bit challenging to do it without a permanent CAO,
I know,
but
I guess you're right.
we had originally thought we would wait till the new person started, and then we thought they were coming anyway, so that kind of got the ball rolling on the RFP.
I think it's smart to start working on the strategic plan. I don't think we should hold off. I really don't.
No.
I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, so we're good with that then, and now we come in. Okay, so now we go to communications.
The AMO policy update, I agree. Do you not, they have a package there where you can create a resolution. The draft resolution is pretty clear. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah. Would support that.
That the province of Ontario commit to undertaking with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario to a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review to promote stability and sustainability of municipal finances across Ontario. I think it's probably good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Do you want us to bring forward that resolution to the next meeting?
There's also another resolution in, jumping ahead,
Mhm.
to number 3, but can do number 2 first.
That was some good reading.
Yeah.
This Robert J. Miller,
Yeah.
Land Use Planning Services, that was actually really interesting.
It's an interesting character.
He's not very happy with the new, I mean, I thought, like, he had some good points in here.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that, he's
Yeah.
very, well read.
Yeah. Might be interesting to get them at one of their meetings. I don't know.
It's from around the lake.
No, but I mean, just
We could do it
virtually.
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 Mhm.
He came down there,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
2018, 2019, you said. Came down.
That's good read.
Very interesting.
Yeah, he wanted to buy property here.
Okay, so where do you want to go now?
Did you want to go to number 3? They're asking for us to support, this initiative as well. The 988, and they also have examples of posters that we should ask them to put around town. So I think it's a great thing. This 988. It's this one. Especially now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And you're right, the resolutions on the draft documents is outlined there pretty clear.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So where would the best place be to have these posters advertised on?
We have public boards in each of the buildings.
The commitment is all municipal buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's the commitment in the resolutions.
Yeah, and they even have a link to the poster. I mean, pretty simple.
You can print it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for sure.
Okay. This, this last one was interesting. I'm thinking I'm missing something, but I thought it was interesting.
It's been passed before. I've worked for the township of Pony. They've passed this before.
Yeah.
They have a gentleman who continues to run in each election. He never gets elected, but he's an active criminal.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you draw the line? Yeah, I don't. You know,
Okay, so we'll move on to unfinished business then.
That letter for the town of Orangeville is on the agenda for our Thursday morning's meeting with DSAP. They're having a look at that. That's on the agenda.
Okay, so we'll,
Sorry.
Do you want this deferred then, or do you just? want-
Yeah, you can, if you want, you can let it drop. It's coming up on the agenda for the board to discuss. It's not going to be supported. It's too much of an increase. There are Roma papers already being developed and completed for Roma and the things that they want to discuss. And certainly that's one of the issues, but I wouldn't be able to, I mean, I can provide information later on what was done for sure.
So we can take it off the agenda?
Yeah, I
get
can
right
take,
off then.
unless somebody here thinks that they want to support it, but DSAB was horrified to see it. And no DSAB office across Ontario has been presented with that request from the town of Orangeville. It was a surprise to them all.
Okay,
Okay, move on to other business then. Number one, the Community Safety and Policing Act training.
two-day conference in Toronto that we gotta go to because we're implementing that. I think it's the end of April. And yeah. Enjoy it.
Well, I think it's good. We're gonna have a seat in the police. I'm just policing board.
Oh, no, I mean, and then, we're by the end of January, but I was talking to Paul and,
I think he said we're gonna put out together what we need for the board. And that's the municipal board member from public and one provincial board member. And then we're working with Nivigan too, kind of thing, like Scriber Terrace Bay and Pace Platter alone. But we're part of.
Nipigon district.
Right.
Significant Red Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Red Rock band.
Oh, yeah.
Have we passed the bylaws for that? All right. Should probably do that if we're implementing, I think.
okay, and then move on to 2024 council appointments.
Once again, deputy mayor is on the table.
You've only been there for a year.
I know, but I want to share the wealth.
And you're gonna get the chair meeting.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Okay, I guess we gotta add well, I guess we don't have to add it yet, the policing board.
That doesn't fall under community safety, though.
No, the community safety is that,
No.
I'm getting started, but that really big make work project that is important for urban centers, but
Community safety and well-being, yeah.
in rural settings or small towns. And no, this would be a police services board. like your library board, and it would be with other communities as well. So I'm not sure if Vaughn's on the list, but we should keep it in our back pocket. And we do have to do the bylaws to create it.
Mm-hmm.
In leaving, we did the joint police services board with our neighbors. We had a huge joint council meeting, and each council was there in the room to pass all the bylaws at the same time. So the clerks had them all done in advance and passed them at the same time. We want to organize something like that with Terrace Bay and Hayes Plat.
Yeah, because we do have like DSAB boards on there, Underwood District Health, Underwood Municipal League, they're all on there, so. But you're right, we need to make that bylaw first before we start adding it to this.
So your police services board will have one member of a council between the three. Not, you don't each get one. And then you have a municipal community representative.
No, I think the
I bet, I
new structure,
I believe, scriveters each get a board member from council. And then we each get a board member from the municipality. And then the provincial
Hayes
would
Plat
be,
doesn't get it?
Hayes Plat can get one if they want, but,
they're restructuring the whole
There
thing.
was a big fight amongst the leaving neighbors as to who got to sit on it. That's what I remember.
it's,
Well, you'll know more at the.
After your,
Yeah.
Yeah, after your training, yeah.
my information is a couple years old, so.
the joint landfill committee, we have to change because I've been off it this year, and Marie's been
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
in there. She's said she's willing to stay in there. Doing a darn good job, all three of you. I really don't have anything to change.
We'll eventually have to add the
I mean,
grant and aid committee review.
Yes,
yeah,
Review committee.
when we get that committee started up, you're absolutely right, yeah. So there'll be some more changes coming up.
are you okay with everything or?
We need a resolution to appoint Anne Marie to the joint landfill committee and the
Voted on the change. Voted on the listing and.
Okay.
Put the listing on the website under each of the council's appointments.
Okay, well, if nobody's got any, we'll go another year and. Okay, Thunder Bay District Municipal League 2024 conference in AGM. The reason,
Even attend? 27th to the 28th, 26th to the 28th, sorry. Okay. Never mind.
yeah,
You'll fly back in Friday morning, right?
I'm flying back in Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, yeah.
Yeah,
Starts that afternoon, right?
The reason we're flying in Thursday, well, not the reason, is that we're going to the, this conference.
Okay.
At noon, we're gonna be, whatever, 4 hours late. But the reason I put it on here was, Dan, you're gonna have to stay over. Yeah, that's right, now Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay, the correspondence I've seen from Nikita is they want you guys there
Board meeting on, at 8 o'clock that night.
Wednesday night.
So I was thinking about that. I should book a room.
Yeah.
So I think you gotta stay over there, but then me and Anne Marie were talking.
I'd tear up. I would drive up Thursday morning.
Yeah.
I've been in February, it's light. It's a much easier ride.
I'm gonna be driving back to Thunder Bay that morning, but we can
we can go in one vehicle
Mhm.
Friday morning. It's just
Exactly.
Friday morning.
Yeah, so I'll probably just stay over the Wednesday. For the meeting. And then registrations at 8 o'clock the next day.
Right, registration and opening breakfast. You guys went to municipal league last year, didn't you? Didn't you?
I did, yeah.
This is on a what, a Thursday, Friday?
Thursday, Friday.
I don't know what, it's off right now. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. Tomorrow
Yeah.
is totally up in the air. I just don't wanna waste town's money registering and then, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just the three of us. Pardon?
Emery, Dan, and me then?
Yeah, and just Dan the one night, I guess, for the hotel.
I can,
If you wanted to stay both nights, I'd never
No,
drive me far. I'd want to get home.
I was just thinking, it wouldn't be a problem. It's not far to drive. It's 80 clicks.
No, you're less than.
You're less than you guys, like 20 clicks, so. But just not one night stay over.
Yeah.
I can book that.
Yeah, they have all the rooms in here
Yeah.
too. Okay. Yeah.
they did one last year.
Yeah.
Whole thing.
Yeah, they're always.
Okay, so I think that's it, eh? Then I forget anything. The time being 8:49 PM, and there being no further business at hand, as chair, I declare this meeting to be adjourned.